share, including the ideas in the legislation, share experience, banking financial regulations, working with IMF. Very well in everything which means the business environment. And this experience we can share with our colleagues in Ukraine and in Georgia. And we go through quite implementation of the association agreement with the European Union, which all three countries.
Distinguished audience to speak at the Atlantic Council, which is a very experienced organization, which is a great lobbyist of the Euro-Atlantic relations and the Euro-Atlantic integration of our three countries. We attach special importance to the cooperation between our three countries, between Ukraine, Moldova and Georgia. We have quite common challenges, which is mostly related to the regional problems and challenges to the Russian aggression. We, all three countries, have a problem with the territorial integrity. Our regions, Georgia, Abkhazia and Somalia region, are occupied, and the countries, Ukraine and Moldova, have similar problems with the territorial integrity. That is one reason why it is important for us to unite our resources and to fight jointly for the protection of our interests and for the protection of the core principles of international law. But besides the common challenges, we have also the common goals, and we share the common values. Our common goal, which we share with both countries, is European integration, and another goal for Georgia, which we share with Ukraine, is the integration with NATO. We are quite consistent in our efforts to become the full-fledged members of the European Union and of NATO. That is our top priority, which is also a formalized priority for Georgia. We have formalized this top international foreign policy priorities in a special parliamentary resolution. We have adopted this resolution shortly after the parliamentary elections in 2016. And this document says that, again, the European integration and Euro-Atlantic integration are the top priorities in terms of Georgia's foreign policy. Besides, this document says that the United States is the key strategic partner, the main strategic partner for Georgia. It means that we have a very clear vision in terms of our foreign policy. Again, we have a very clear goals, which is related to the European integration and Euro-Atlantic integration, and again we have a very strong strategic partnership with the United States. I think this is something which is a kind of red line for us, also with regard to the relations with the Russian Federation. You know that we are pursuing a pragmatic policy with the Russian Federation, but with this pragmatic policy we have a very clear red lines, which is connected with the Western integration and which is also connected with the deoccupation of our two regions. We are actively pursuing our non-recognition policy. The occupation is the main national issue and the main national goal for Georgia, and we should be very consistent in our efforts. As for the policy towards the Russian Federation, again, we faced strong aggression from the side of this country. We are again pursuing a pragmatic policy, and with this pragmatic policy we managed to achieve a much higher grade of our stability, domestic stability and domestic security, and we now even contribute to a broader regional stability and security. So that is the role which now Georgia plays in our region. But we have, of course, quite serious challenges, especially in the occupied regions. The human rights situation is grave, both in Abkhazia and Somalia region. The humanitarian situation is not good, and our citizens which are living in Abkhazia and Somalia region are facing serious problems on a daily basis. The kidnapping of people happens on a regular basis. Recently, one of the Georgian citizens, a peaceful citizen of Georgia, was killed in the Somalia region, which demonstrates once again that this conflict, which we face in Abkhazia and Somalia region, and the situation is there is not just a frozen conflict. Sometimes the people forget that this conflict brings the deaths of the people on a daily basis, the human rights violations. That's why it is very important for us to attract the attention of the international community to this problem. Again, it is not a frozen conflict. It is a conflict which brings the deaths and which brings the kidnapping and other human rights violations of peaceful citizens on a daily basis. since we face the common challenges and since we have the common goals and more importantly we share the common values with our Ukrainian and Moldovan friends, it is again very important for us to have the joint efforts, to plan jointly our efforts in terms of addressing the challenges related to the Russian aggression and in terms of achieving our foreign policy goal. And we have launched a very successful cooperation, especially in a parliamentary format, together with my two colleagues, the speakers from Ukraine and Moldova. And finally, this cooperation led to the establishment of a parliamentary assembly of three nations of Ukraine, Moldova, and Georgia. And I think that this will be a very successful format in future. We have had several meetings in a trilateral format. Now we are visiting the United States, and it was quite important for us to voice our joint messages in front of our American colleagues, and I believe that this was a very successful visit. And in September, in the second half of September, we will organize a parliamentary assembly, the first session of the parliamentary assembly in Tbilisi, which will again launch a very successful the process of cooperation between our three countries. I would like to thank my colleagues from Moldova and Ukraine for their reports, for their enthusiasm, and I believe that with our joint effort we will finally achieve our common goals. It will not be easy. It will not be easy to achieve our foreign policy goals, the EU integration, NATO integration. It will not happen within the next couple of years, unfortunately. But we will be consistent in our efforts. We will implement the relevant reforms. Finally, we are implementing these reforms not just for becoming the member of the EU or NATO. We are implementing these reforms in order to strengthen our statehood, in order to strengthen our democracy, in order to strengthen our economy. And with this consistency and with this enthusiasm, finally, we believe that we will become the full-fledged member of the Western family of nations. And the most important thing for us is the approximation. And under approximation, we mean not only the institutional approximation with EU and NATO. First of all, we mean the approximation in terms of values. We should strengthen the democracy, we should strengthen our societies in order to fully share the values on which the European and the Euro-Atlantic families of nations are based. The decision to become the NATO member, EU member is a value-based decision of our people. The enthusiasm among the Georgian population is very high, and with this high motivation, with this high enthusiasm and high support to the idea of Western integration, we believe that finally our goals will be achieved in strong cooperation with our friends from Moldova and Ukraine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.